everybody. J.R. Fisher here. Let me know if you can hear me. We'll make sure my microphone's working good. Make sure my video is working good. Make sure you can see me. I'm so glad to see you guys today. It really is. It is a cloudy and rainy day out here in Texas. Don't know what it's like where you're at. Stick it in the chat box there. Go ahead and join us in the chat box. Say something. Love to have you in here. Looks like you have a PDF for us today. I don't have a PDF. No, I don't have a PDF. But I do have a list, and you can write it down. You can make it a PDF if you'd like to. So I certainly do have that for you. Man, what a great day, huh? Monday morning, and we're in 2023. We are the people who've made it through the world illness. Can I say that? I think I can say that. So, yeah, we made it through all that stuff. And we've got, I'm over here, I apologize for not looking right at the camera. I'm looking at my iPad here, trying to catch some of y'all's comments here and making sure I see everything that you put in there today. So, yeah, I need to click on all these, okay? So when you guys put in comments, I'm going to throw them up on the screen just to let you know that so everybody can see them and everybody can share from them. If you're new to this channel, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe. Let's see here. What do we got here? It looks like you have, it needs, let me put this up on the screen. It sounds like there's an audio problem, lots of buzzing. Lots of buzzing. That doesn't sound good. Let me make sure we've got everything turned down here so we don't have buzzing. We don't want buzzing. Let's see here. Okay, see if that's any better there. I had a little bit of volume on my laptop, and that may have been interfering. So let me know if that's okay, guys. Do me a favor and subscribe if you would. Hit that subscribe button down and don't forget to ring the bell. Turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live or if I upload a video, either one of those things, okay? So let me take that off of there now. And let me know how that sound is there, guys, if that sound is better now. I had a little bit of volume on my laptop, and I want to make sure that wasn't affecting you guys. All right. I want to make sure everything is working well online. Hope so. Hope so. Good to see you guys here today. And today we're going to talk about getting stuff done. Stuff done. Okay. I didn't exactly put it that way in the title, but you got to be careful. Got to be careful here on YouTube. You don't want to do anything to offend anybody, not trying to offend anybody, just trying to help you guys out, help you start running, grow your online businesses. I do have a lot of things today. So it is better, but it's still there. Somebody else let me know if you're having any buzzing there, and that way we can isolate it and we can figure out if it's his or mine. And let me try one other thing. Let me switch my audio and see if that works any differently. I have two audios. See if that audio is any better, guys. Put that in the chat section there. I just switched the microphone I'm using with a few clicks of a button. Technology is great, isn't it? I love technology. So put that in there if you would. And let me get started with my list. All right, we got to get started here. Hopefully you can hear me well. I want you to hear me well, but, you know, hey, we got to move on, right? We got to move on. So let's see here. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is I'm just like you. We're no different. All of us every day battle this thing called time. We all battle it because we know that it's limited. We know that it's limited. And as we get a little bit older, we start to realize more and more and more how limited it is. You know, I've been watching a lot of people die this week. I think we got Louis Anderson died. Meatloaf died. Recently, Norm Macdonald died. Bill Saget died. These are all people that, you know, I grew up with basically, you know, and a lot of them are, you know, just a little bit older than I am. And you see that and you're like, wow, man, it kind of wakes you up to your mortality. That's why today's session is so important, because if we have control of our time, we can get more out of life. And that's really what it's about. It's not just about getting more work done and making more money and all that stuff. I mean, that's just fine, but it's not just that, right? It's actually getting more out of life. So what I want to talk about first is controlling your time. And I mean physically controlling your time. That's number one, control your time. And the best way you can do that is use the Pomodoro method. It was a thing that was devised by Francisco Cirillo in the 1980s. And the idea was that you would break down a task into 25-minute chunks, okay, with a small break in between. Another way of thinking about this is really asking yourself how long you can get deep work done. So seems like 25 minutes is a good period of time. So what you do is for that 20 or 25 minutes, you set a timer, 25 minutes, something like that. I do this. And then you take a break. You reward yourself. You say, you know what? After 25 minutes, I'm going to take a 3 to 5 minute break, and I'm going to, I don't know, look at my social feed. I'm going to go to Facebook. I'm going to shop on Amazon. I'm going to do whatever I want to do for 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get back to work. Now, what this does is it kind of trains your brain to stay focused on one thing, okay? And that's pretty important. The sound is working better now. Just before you switch mics, switching mics added a little echo. All right, let me try one other thing, guys, and not to stop the training, but I do want you guys to be able to hear me okay. So let me see if I can do one other thing here, and I'm going to try audio. This is live, so I apologize, but, you know, when it's live, you know, and you just kind of got to deal. Let me know how that is. I've done a couple switches here. I have a couple of alternatives for audio. Okay, so let's get back to this list here that I was talking to you guys about. There it is. Okay. You know, when I lived in San Diego, they opened a gym in the grocery store shopping center. And the name of the gym was Eat the Frog. Eat the Frog. And I never really thought much about it. And then one day I kind of Googled it and I wanted to find out what it was. And it really is a thing that I think it was, Mark Twain that came up with it. You know, you can correct me in the chat box there if you want. Like this audio better. Good. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. So anyhow, what Eat the Frog is it's basically if you've got something in it, you know, just not pleasant to do, unpleasant to do, you just do it right away. You just do it. Okay, get that over with. And I think it was Mark Twain. You can correct me if you want, but he said that if you've got to eat a frog in the morning, eat it right away. And if you've got 2 frogs and one's really big and one's small, eat the big one first. Okay, that's really unpleasant, right? That's a really unpleasant thing to have to do. But you know what? There's merit to this. You got rid of all the really horrible things right off the bat. You got rid of that stuff. And if you don't get rid of it, that weight on your mind of knowing that you've got to eat the frog or whatever it is, horrible thing you have to do, that thing weighs on your mind all day, and it takes up space in your brain, and it drains you, and it weakens you, and it prevents you from doing well at everything else. So number 2 is eat the frog. Okay, you got to eat the frog. Number 3 is add music. Okay, some people like music in the background. Okay, and this is been proven to help people be more productive. Having music. Now, here's the question: what kind of music? Is it classical? Is it hard rock? Is it heavy metal? I think it has a lot to do with what you're doing. I like some pleasant, easy listening music if I'm writing or doing something like that. But if I'm at the gym, I want heavy metal. Okay, that encourages me to do what I need to do to get my stuff done. So it's okay to play a little bit of music. Okay, you can have a headset if you want. I don't like headsets; it just bugs me. But I do use them at the gym because I don't want to offend anybody else. And the next thing is this is craziness. Have a plan. Have a plan as to what you're going to do. You know, I mean, this sounds really simple. Everybody's like, well, I have a plan already. I know what I want to do. But have you ever really sat down to do something and really got stuck and found yourself watching, you know, I don't know, baby goat videos or whatever it is you're going to be doing? I've done the same thing. But if you work out what you need to do and you work backwards to see what you need to do to make it happen, to complete your goal, then, of course, you'll have what's called a real plan. You can use planning boards like Trello. That's Trello. You can use something like Trello. these comments. I'm getting some comments coming in. I want to make sure that I'm doing what I'm saying I'm doing. Here, all these comments on the screen. He says he was still picking up some interference, but they're going to work through it. What Paul says, okay, I'm really sorry about that, guys. Let's see here. Nothing like I hire with Bob Seger. Worked out, Bob Seger was great. And I remember I saw Bob Seger in San Diego a few years back. And I think it was one of his last concerts he ever did. But an amazing show. Next thing I can do is phone a friend. Phone a friend. That's number 5, I guess. And when I say friend, talk to them about what you're going to get done that day. Talk to them about what they're going to get done that day. I can't guarantee that you know somebody that's going to help you out. But if you do know somebody that's going to help you out, use that sense. At the end of the day, all about what you get done. If they could say to you get why done. These little motivators really help. And the next thing is have fun. I mean, I have had fun. If you guys have fun, in the comments, have fun. Video getting rest of the words. I don't know what it is. But it could be whatever it is. Could be YouTube. Number 6 is making fun. Do stuff fun. That's super important. If you don't have what you do, you should be having life. So try to have fun. Maybe it's really rest of work. Maybe you like to do that. You want to do the house. There's a motto to stop overthinking things. Just get stuff done. So how can you make some fun? Maybe that looks like taking yourself out chocolate. You know, when you have to have something ridiculous and boring. I do that in the morning. Tea. Maybe it's adding a person. I know Sean Stevens from He's going to have a dance party. Literally. Should a video where he has a dance party. And Sean Stevens was in a wheelchair. He passed away a few years back. I got some great guy. You can Google Sean Stevens and listen to some of his stuff. It's amazing. Next thing you can do is actually break it down. Okay. Break it down. Sometimes it seems massive. When I'm working on a book, which I am right now, and so is my wife, we break it down to all the different chapters. We'll just work on a chapter. We're not working on a book. We're working on a chapter. You gotta break it down. There's the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. And I think Paul's having problems with his audio there. I'm so sorry about that. Paul, don't know why you are. Put it in there, guys, if you have any problem with audio. And I'm going to try to, if I can do it. I don't really have another alternative. I've kind of got to stick with what I've got here. So, unfortunately, I have to do that. Next thing I'm going to tell you guys is simplify. Make it easier. Don't overcomplicate stuff. I love getting new ideas, but I'm the first to admit, when I get a new idea, I can get completely overtaken with a wave of excitement, and I make it too complicated. I know I do. Then the excitement starts to fade a little bit because there's too much to do, too difficult. So try to not make it so complicated. And the next thing is ask for help. If you don't have any help, you can see here, Thomas says, let me put it up on the screen here, guys. Get some comments in here. I want to put it up on the screen so everybody can see it. I'm doing a video capture of this. You want a copy so you can tell what we're experiencing audio-wise. Sure, I'll be happy to get a copy of it. So give me where the best is sent. You can send it to training@jrfisher.com, Tom. I don't, sometimes it's like a YouTube thing, and I just don't have any control over that. I use the same setup every time. I have the same microphone and camera and all that. The only thing I can do is stop and restart, and I hate to do that to you guys because, obviously that's a pain to have to do that. So I don't want to do that. Yeah, you could do that. I would love to have that. I would appreciate it, Thomas. Do you go by Tom or Thomas? Put that in the chat box there, too. Let me know which one you go by. I go by JR, so when somebody calls me Jeff or something, it really drives me nuts. But anyhow, ask for help, okay? Get some help, guys. If you need to hire somebody from Upwork, some freelance, or whatever it is, get some help. Now, this one may sound a little counterintuitive, but give yourself a reward, but give it to yourself up front. okay? If you give yourself a reward up front, then you kind of trick your brain into going, oh, I owe something. I owe some work. I owe doing something. You know, that's the thing that really I think a lot of people miss is they reward themselves, but they do it after the task. And if they do it after the task, then the problem is they may not do the task, okay? They may not ever get to it. And then think about your ratio. Don't work so much. I shoot for about a 2-to-1 fun ratio, okay? So it's pretty simple. So much of the time, you know, we approach getting stuff done as working with, you know, blinkers on and not stopping to eat or drink or doing anything else. And we just barge through it all. And it's very, very difficult for you to do that, for your mind to do that. So, you know, try to stay away from that. Try to, you know, do a 2-to-1 work ratio. Okay. Work twice as much as fun, but have some fun in there. Give yourself some fun in there. Stop and breathe. That's my next thing. Stop and breathe. Take a deep breath. Where are you at? Are you being mindful? This mindfulness is I think about more and more as I get older. But are you enjoying the moment right now? Are you enjoying the moment? Are things good for you right now? And if they're not, what can you do to make them good? What can you do to change that situation? What can you do to make it better? How can you change that? Let me get a sip real quick. There are things you can do to make it better, but what are they? You know, what are they? What is it that is going to make you more comfortable? Breathing is one of them. Sometimes we just don't breathe well. And the next one is don't kid yourself. And here's what I mean by don't kid yourself. You are not multitasking. There is no such thing as multitasking. You cannot do 3 or 4 things at the same time. All you're doing is switching your thinking from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And when you're doing that, you're not really concentrating on any single one thing much. There's a lot of research about multitasking, but basically it just slows you down, okay? It changes your focus so often, it means you never really get into that flow state, the zone of genius. While it feels productive and you say, look at all these things I'm doing, it usually is anything but. It ends up with a disappointment of not actually having been able to do everything you need to do and not completing any one task that well. So you need to change that, okay? There's no such thing as multitasking. I don't care what anybody says, can't prove it to me, can't do it, okay? And then the next thing I would tell you is celebrate your small wins. You know, if you've listened to me for any period of time, you know that I'm all about these small wins. When I first started my business, my first sale was for $10 online, and I was thrilled. I was really thrilled about that. And a lot of people would say, well, JR, $10 isn't much money. I'm like, no, the point was that I made $10. That's the point. I was super excited about that because I knew if I made 10, I could do it again, 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 again. Okay. And that's what motivated me. I remember when I first got my first retailer to sell my survival food. I was so excited. I made this little folder, filled out this form, put it in a file cabinet. You guys remember what file cabinets were, don't you? And I was so excited about that. That motivated me to call a whole lot more websites and to get more people involved and to get more retailers. That first retailer never even sold anything. I don't even know if he ever put up a website, but it was motivation enough for me. And I celebrated that win. Okay. So I thought that was very important. Next thing is hang out with people who encourage you. Hang out with people who encourage you. If you've got a bunch of negative people around you, that's your fault. It's not their fault. It's not their fault, okay? And you say, well, JR, it's my husband or my wife. Well, then you picked the wrong one. You know, I'm going to break it to you. You picked the wrong one. And if they don't change, maybe you need to make a change. I'm not telling you to leave your love of your life, but it's not going to help you if you want to succeed if you've got somebody negative around you, if you've got negative friends, if you've got negative relatives. You got to get away from them. They're not going to help you out. They're not going to make you feel better, okay? You got to surround yourself with people who encourage you. Next thing, and this is a big one. I've done this. My wife's done this. Turn off your notifications. Turn them off. Why do you need to be notified when somebody posts on Facebook? That's interrupting your day. Why do you need to be notified when you get a voicemail or you get an email? Why do you just set a time of day that you're going to go check those things? Set a time of day that you're going to go check them. You don't need to be notified every single time it happens. Oh, God, Thomas. Where's Thomas? This is funny. He says, what do you say? He says, you cannot pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. Very, very true. And what he's meaning is that multitasking thing I was talking about. You can't do all these things, guys. You may think you can. You may think you're accomplishing stuff. You're not. You're just not. It's not happening. You're kidding yourself. You've been told your whole life that, oh, multitaskers, these people are, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as people acting like they're doing a bunch of things and people being distracted, right? Paul says, treat negative people like radioactive waste, time, distance, and shielding. Yes, you have to. This is a must. And I'm doing a video now for my course with Casey Neistat, and I'm talking about going to the gym. And I realized when I was going to the gym and I was telling everybody I'm going to the gym now, I'm going to go work out, I realized I didn't want to. I didn't want to go to the gym. But I thought it was really important to share it in the video and say, oh, by the way, I'm going to the gym. And oh, by the way, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go work out. I don't want to go get sweaty. I don't want to get out of breath. But I know it's the right thing to do. Okay. If you only do things that are comfortable, if you're only doing things that are comfortable, you're never, ever going to accomplish much. You're never really going to grow much. Okay. It's those uncomfortable things that are really going to get you going. So, I would tell you, do things that are uncomfortable. You got to do something that's uncomfortable. And the next thing I want to tell you is take a break. Take a break. Now, a lot of people will say, but JR, I don't have enough time to take a break. You don't understand. I've got so much to do, let alone take a break. I can't do that. Look, I know, and that's part of the problem. One of the biggest times you need to take a break is exactly when you feel like you can't. Okay. Mind is a funny thing. It's like when you don't want to work out, that's when you should work out. Okay. People who are maybe afraid of doing a video or getting on camera, that's exactly what they should do. That's how I got involved in it, because I was in a job where I had to do the sales meetings to get my promotion. And I was scared to stand up and talk in front of a group of people, but I forced myself to do it. I got some training in it. And it served me well since then. These are the things that you have to do. Okay. All these things, and taking a break is one of them. So take a break often. Pay attention to those times when you feel like you can't. You come first. Okay. That's not a negotiable thing. Okay. You come first, and you got to treat yourself well. Now, here's the big one. This is the big one. You ready for this? Start. That's the biggest problem, is we procrastinate. We put off. We say we're going to go work out. We say we're going to start the book. We say we're going to build the website. We say we're going to do a video. We say, but do we start? Okay. Saying is not starting. Saying is just saying. That's all it is. Your biggest risk in never starting in the first place is missing out on all those things you could have accomplished, all those things you could have done. You'll never know. I have somebody I talked to the other day who's a relative. They're relatively funny, and they have unusual look at life. And I said, well, you ought to just go do stand-up comedy. And this person said, well, yeah, I have people tell me that all the time. They've told me that my whole life. And I feel like I've got a lot of good information. I feel like I could do something like that, but I can't do that. I can't do that. And I said, wait a second. Somebody told you your entire life, and many people told you your entire life, you ought to do a thing, and you keep telling yourself you shouldn't. And you believe they're right, and yet you still don't do it. So it's that starting thing, guys. It's that starting thing. Dave Chappelle, I've heard him talk about it before. He started comedy when he was 14 in comedy clubs and bars. He started performing when he was 14 years old. If you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or whatever you are, and you're still putting it off, look at people who've really succeeded. They just went and did it. Okay. And if you're not doing it, if you're talking about it and you got all these plans, but you still haven't done anything, nothing concrete. And I really call people out on that. A lot of times I'll say, hey, I talked to you last year and you were talking about X, have you done it yet? Let me put some of these comments up here. Oh, I got quite a few good ones. All right. I had that one up there. Here's one. I like how Elon Musk focused on one company a day and gave it his attention. It takes an average 10 minutes to get back to a task. Yeah, I've heard him talk about that, Paul, where he says, I concentrate in chunks of time on different things. And that's important. Take 5 to 10 minutes every hour to get up and take a break and stretch and drink water. Yeah, as a matter of fact, my Apple Watch at 10 minutes till the hour tells me to stand. It just tells me to stand. It's funny because sometimes my wife and I will both be up walking around the house. We're like, 10 minutes till, huh? And that's what our watches do. They just kind of tell us to do that. Let's see. I am facing myself to do some uncomfortable things now. And it has opened up some great new options for me that maybe I would not have for now, or maybe for a long time. That's really good, Thomas. Really, really good, man. I mean, that's good stuff. And you know what is really cool about what you did is you said it. You said, I'm facing these difficult, uncomfortable things, and I'm doing something about it. You know, that's a huge step. Hey guys, put your comments in there. We've got a few people commenting. We need more. I want to hear what you've got to say. And when you become part of the conversation, you become part of the solution, and you become successful. Put your comments in there. I want to hear what you've got to say. I'll throw them up on the screen. Everybody can see them too. Thomas also says things don't get done on what you plan to do. Action speaks more than words. Stuff gets done with massive amounts of inspired action. Yeah, action is it. Action is the one thing that it's the ingredient that makes it all happen, guys. Without action, without actually doing anything, your great ideas don't matter. You know, and I've over the years, I've had so many people say, "Oh man, that's a cool invention. I thought about that years ago. I thought about doing that years ago. I thought about writing that book years ago. I already thought of that." But you didn't do anything. And if you don't do anything, it doesn't matter what you thought about. A lot of people think a lot of stuff. You know, you drive by a graveyard, and I bet there's a lot of good thoughts in there that never, ever came to fruition, because all they did was think about it. All they did was talk about it. All they did was list all these ideas. Okay, you got to actually do it. I find planning out a day before helps me get stuff done. Yeah, I usually do that late in the evening, Paul. Like last night, I sent out an email for this training, and I missed my one on Saturday. I apologize for that, but we were out late. We went and saw, David Spade, and went out and had a nice dinner. It was a great evening. And we rewarded ourselves. Okay, we gave a reward because we had worked hard all week long, and we didn't feel guilty about that. We didn't feel guilty a bit because we owed it to ourselves. And this was a nice thing my wife did, actually. She bought me tickets to David Spade, and I bought her dinner to Gus's Fried Chicken. So that's where we went that night. But you know, actually doing something, guys. And once again, I'm going to remind you in the chat box. And if you're not putting comments in there, you are missing an opportunity to make yourself successful. And I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. I think it's just because you're starting. But when you put comments, when you ask questions in that chat box, you will leave this being a more successful person. It will motivate you to do more things. Let's say here, yes, but people are dying to get into the graveyards. They really are, aren't they? You know, they say some of the best books never written are in the graveyard because people had stories. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got an interesting story, guys. Yours may be sad. It may be happy. It may be probably is everything all over the place, but you've got a story and somebody's interested in it. You know, I mean, how many times have you watched a movie and you said, "Oh, I've been through that," or "I've done that," or "That's happened to me"? There's your story. Okay. You've got to share this stuff, guys. You've got to share it. So putting comments on this video right now is a huge start. Even if you're not watching this live and you think, "Well, nobody's going to see my comment," I will. As a matter of fact, after this live today, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to answer any comments I find in there this morning. So if you want to put some comments on videos, today would be a good day to do it, because I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer every single one. I don't care if there's 200 of them. I'm going to answer every single one. And then I got to get back to work. I have a deadline of a video I have to turn in this evening for my course. And I worked on it last night, yesterday, for about 3 or 4 hours. And I woke up today and it was corrupted and I couldn't open the file and it was dead. So I have to build the whole video over again. Yay. I got to build the whole video over again. But you know what? It's the way it is. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. It just means it's a pain in the butt. I got to do it over again. So that's what we got to do. Paul says, "I have friends who have been planning for 5 years. Yeah, man, about that. Never have taken action, but have made a lot of excuses. Yes, excuses are the bricks that builds the house of failure." My man Paul's got some sayings, doesn't he? He's got some sayings, and it is true. And excuses, you know, I just haven't had the time. I haven't gotten around to it. I had a friend who had these like wooden coins, and he was a motivational speaker. And on the edge of it, it says "around to it," T-U-I-T. It says "around to it." And when people say, "Well, yeah, I just haven't got around to it," he would hand it to them. And he'd say, "Well, you have it now. You've got around to it now." So why don't you go ahead and get things done? And he would hand out these round tuits, which I thought was the funniest thing in the world. And this goes back into the 80s. I knew this guy. I don't know whatever happened to him. He was a great speaker. I don't know if he ever made it big time, but he helped a lot of people. I can tell you that. Stories help sell, especially ones based in the hero's journey. We are all heroes. We all have a hero's journey, right? We're all on a journey. We're all going to go through ups and downs and problems and illnesses and losses and failures and successes. And we all have a journey, and we're all living it right now. And, we keep, I think that's why a lot of people watch TV is they don't want to live their own life. They want to watch somebody else live their life. And I do get hooked on some shows. Right now, Ozark is back on. If you haven't watched Ozark, and I'm a little off track here, but if you haven't watched Ozark, don't start now. Got to go back to the very first one and start Ozark. But man, is it good. I mean, this season is like better than ever, and it seems like it keeps getting better. And that's one of my guilty pleasures. I don't watch TV during the day. I mean, maybe sometimes at lunch we'll turn it on for a second while we're eating, but I don't watch TV during the day, and rarely in the evening. I'll be working on something. But if I have a show like Ozark, I will say, hey, that's my guilty pleasure at dinner tonight. While we're eating, we're going to turn on Ozark. And sometimes that's a bad show to watch because it's a little bit bloody, but it's okay to have some guilty pleasures. Don't feel bad if you're not working all the time. Don't look at me and say, well, JR works all the time. I do not. That's not true. But when I work, I work. I'm serious about it, okay? I'm serious about you guys. I'm serious about sharing things with you guys that have already helped me. That means a lot to me. If I could help you guys with stuff that's already helped me, well, then I've done something. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So I guess we're winding down. We're at 10:31 now, guys. I really appreciate everybody being here. Feel free to put more comments in there in that chat section right now if you can. If you're watching this afterwards and it's not live, then what you want to do is put it in the comment section. I want to help you guys. If you've got a problem with making money online and you can identify what the problem is, put it in the comments section on this video. I will come back and I will try to help you with it, okay? That's what this channel is all about, is me helping you guys overcome these problems. They're problems, but they're not obstacles. You can overcome any of these things. I've been through a lot of these things. I lost a video last night that I'd been working on for days, okay? And then I spent hours on it last night and I lost it, but it doesn't matter. It's just a problem. I'll overcome it. I'll get it. I got it. I'm not worried about it, okay? All right, guys, I really appreciate you being here. I will be here again on Wednesday at 10 a.m. and Friday at 10 a.m. And I'm going to try to do Saturday at 10 a.m. And keep in mind, I'm posting new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you can also find those videos. So I'm doing anywhere from, 6 to 7 videos a week. So you should be able to find something that's going to help you out. Thank you so much for being here. And if you like this, put a comment in here that you did like it. Put a comment in here what you didn't like, what you want to hear about. A lot of my ideas come from you guys. I did a couple trainings last week on Kartra because people were asking about that. Paul says, have a blessed day and a blessed week ahead, guys. And guys, don't forget to subscribe, okay? And ring the bell. Paul said it. Ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every single time I go live. Guys, I love each and every one of you. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening, and I will see you on Wednesday.